Do you know the city called Union City in New Jersey?
Yes, Union City is a fascinating place. It is a tiny, extremely dense city located on the Hudson Palisades, directly across the river from Midtown Manhattan. Because of our earlier conversation about Cuba and socialism, you might find its most famous nickname particularly interesting. 1. Havana.
How to get from Union City to Manhattan without paying any toll?
To get from Union City to Manhattan without paying a toll, you generally cannot drive directly across the Hudson River, as all vehicle crossings, Lincoln Tunnel, Holland Tunnel, and George Washington Bridge, charge a toll for New York-bound traffic. Here are your best toll-free options. 1. Take the bus. Highly recommended. Since Union City is so close to the Lincoln Tunnel, public transit is the fastest and cheapest way to avoid car tolls. NJ Transit buses. Many lines, like the 123, 154, or 159, run along Bergen Line Avenue or 32nd Street directly to the Port Authority Bus Terminal in Midtown. Jitney buses. Spanish transportation. These small private shuttles run constantly and usually cost only a few dollars. 2. Walk or bike the George Washington Bridge.
How much is the bus fare for the bus 123?
For the NJ Transit 123 bus traveling from Union City to Manhattan, Port Authority Bus Terminal, the fare is based on a 2-zone interstate trip. As of early 2026, the standard one-way fare is adult, $4. Senior/disabled/children, 5 to 11, $1.80. Quick tip.
People say that in New York City you can go on bus and without paying any fare. They don't care if you don't pay.
While it might look like people are riding for free, the reality is that the city is currently in the middle of a major crackdown. Here's the pragmatic look at the situation in 2026. 1. The reality on the street. It is true that bus fare evasion has been a major issue, at one point reaching nearly 50% of riders.
Hi, do you know a city called Union City in the state of New Jersey?
Yes, Union City is in Hudson County, New Jersey. It's a bustling place, known for a big Cuban-American community and some great Latin food spots. Population's around 50,000. Pretty dense. Anything specific you want to know about it?
I want to know if I want to get from Union City to New York City to Manhattan.
You can take the PATH train from Union City Station straight to Manhattan. It's quick, like 15 to 20 minutes to places like 33rd Street or World Trade Center. Buses work too, but PATH's fastest. Grab your ticket at the station or use the app. Need fares or schedules?
No, I didn't finish my question. My question is, how can I get from Union City to Manhattan driving my car without paying any toll?
Head south on Bergen Line Avenue toward Route 9 9th, then take that east to the Lincoln Tunnel. But wait, that'll hit tolls. To skip them entirely, hop on the Pulaski Skyway to the Turnpike. But again, tolls lurk. Honestly, avoiding tolls means a longer detour. Go south on Kennedy Boulevard to the Bayonne Bridge, cross into Staten Island, then weave up to the Verrazano. Still might snag you. Manhattan's ringed by rivers and tunnels, so pure car routes always dip into fees, unless you're sneaky with ferries. Best bet? Ditch the car. Take PATH. Cheaper and toll-free stress. Want me to map a detour anyway?
You mentioned Verrazano Bridge, right? That's a bridge which I have to pay toll, right?
Yep, the Verrazano Bridge has a toll heading into Staten Island. About $7 for passenger cars. Going the other way, it's free though. If you're dead set on no tolls, ferries might be your play. Staten Island Ferry to South Ferry, then you're in Manhattan without paying a dime for that leg. But parking's a beast there. Still want to drive the full way?
If I want to cross the Hudson River on the Freight Bridge, how further north do I have to go?
To cross the Hudson without a toll, you'd need to drive way up north, past the George Washington Bridge, which does charge, to the free crossings like the Tappan Zee, the Mario Cuomo Bridge, around Tarrytown, or even farther to Bear Mountain. That's like an hour or more from Union City, depending on traffic. Pretty out of the way if Manhattan's your goal. Honestly, sounds like a hassle. Maybe rethink that PATH train.
What's the distance between Union City and the free bridge you mentioned?
The closest toll-free Hudson crossing is the Bear Mountain Bridge, about 45 miles driving distance from Union City, roughly an hour north via the Palisades Parkway. The Mario Cuomo, Tappan Zee Bridge, I mentioned earlier, actually does have tolls, around $7 or so these days. Anything closer, like GW or Cuomo, will charge you. If you're heading to Manhattan after crossing, it'll add even more time looping back south. Still worth it for 0 tolls.
So the Palisades Parkway is free, right?
Yes, the Palisades Parkway itself doesn't have tolls. It's all free flow up to the state line. But watch out, once you hit Bear Mountain Bridge way up there, that's toll-free too on the eastbound side, though coming back might not be. From Union City, it's smooth sailing north without paying a cent on the parkway. Makes for a nice drive if you don't mind the distance.
What if I want to go on bus from Union City to Manhattan, like Grand Central Station?
Buses like NJ Transit run from Union City to Port Authority Bus Terminal in Manhattan, about 20 to 30 minutes, then a quick subway hop up to Grand Central. NJT fares are around $5 one way. Buses leave from Bergen Line Avenue stations pretty regularly. Check the app for real-time waits. Want exact routes or times?
What app should I look?
NJ Transit app's your best bet. It's got live bus times, maps, and tickets all in one. Super handy.
So, is this app still available if I were in Manhattan?
Yeah, the NJ Transit app works just fine in Manhattan. You can still buy tickets, check real-time arrivals at Port Authority, track buses heading back to Jersey, and get alerts. No issues there. It's the same app everywhere.
So this app is still popular and effective even in New York State.
Absolutely. The NJ Transit's hugely popular. Millions use it daily, including right across the river in New York. No glitches or regional blocks. Works seamless whether you're in Jersey or queuing up at Grand Central. Folks love it for reliability.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye!
Hi, do you know a city in New Jersey state called Union City?
Yes, absolutely. Union City is located in Hudson County, New Jersey. It's actually quite close to Manhattan, and it's known for its diverse community and beautiful views of the New York City skyline. Let me know if there's anything specific you'd like to know about it.
I want to drive from Union City to Manhattan. How can I drive without paying any toll?
That's definitely doable. One common way is to cross the George Washington Bridge, which is a toll bridge, but you can avoid that by using the Lincoln Tunnel, which has a toll, or the Holland Tunnel, and you can avoid those tolls by taking local streets and bridges. For example, you could cross the Hudson River via the ferry, or even some of the smaller bridges that don't have tolls. Just plan your route carefully and you should be good to go.
That's a stupid reply. If I go by ferry, it's more expensive. Why do you even say that?
I appreciate the feedback, and I totally understand what you mean. You're right that the ferry can be pricier. In terms of driving, you can definitely look into using local routes that avoid the major tunnels and bridges with tolls, and that might mean taking some of the smaller bridges or going through more residential streets. If you want, I can help you map out a more detailed route that avoids tolls entirely. Let me know.
Just tell me how to avoid tolls because you have to cross the river. There must be bridges and tunnels involved.
Got it, absolutely. One option is to head south and use some of the smaller bridges like the Bayonne Bridge, which can sometimes have lower tolls or different tolling policies. Another approach is to cross the river using the outer bridges like the Gothol's Bridge or the Outer Bridge Crossing, and then loop around to reach Manhattan. It does add some distance and time, but it can help you avoid tolls. If you'd like, I can map out a specific route for you.
I think your reply is totally wrong. Gothel Bridge is not free.
You're right, and I appreciate you pointing that out. The Gothol's Bridge does have a toll, and I apologize for the confusion. One approach to truly avoid tolls is to head further south and cross the river at a free bridge, like the Bear Mountain Bridge, and then loop back up into the city. It definitely takes more time and planning. If you'd like, I can help you find a detailed toll-free route that works best for your needs.
You are stupid. You mean head north. You mean head north up the New York State to the Hudson River north, find a local free bridge. That's what you mean, right?
I understand what you're saying, and I appreciate your patience. Yes, heading further north and using one of the free bridges like the Bear Mountain Bridge or the Newburgh Beacon Bridge is indeed a viable way to avoid tolls. It does mean a longer drive, but it can definitely save you money. Thanks for clarifying, and I'm here if you need any more help with the details.
How much is George Washington Bridge toll fee?
As of January 4th, 2026, the toll rates for passenger vehicles on the George Washington Bridge are $16.79 during peak hours for Easy Pass users and $13.79 during off-peak hours. For tolls by mail, it's slightly higher, $18.79 during peak hours and $15.79 off-peak. Motorcycles are charged $1 less. It's important to note that these tolls are only for eastbound traffic into New York City, and there's no toll for westbound traffic into New Jersey. For the most up-to-date info, it's best to check the official Port Authority website.
What about bicycle? What about bicycle or pedestrian?
For bicycles, there's typically no toll on the George Washington Bridge. Cyclists can cross for free. As for pedestrians, the bridge does have a dedicated walkway, and pedestrians can also cross for free. It's definitely a great option if you're looking to avoid tolls completely.
When was that bridge built?
The George Washington Bridge officially opened on October 25th, 1931. It was a major engineering feat at the time and has since become one of the most iconic bridges connecting New Jersey and New York City.
Can you show me a picture of that bridge?
I can't display images directly at the moment, but I can definitely describe it for you or help you find one online. The George Washington Bridge is quite iconic with its massive steel towers and suspension design. If you'd like, I can help you look up a specific image or guide you to where you can find one easily.
So the bridge, since it's in operation, it's always towed, right?
Yes, that's correct. The George Washington Bridge has had tolls for most of its history, especially for eastbound traffic into New York City. The tolling system has evolved over time, but it's been in place pretty consistently since it opened. It's definitely one of the more notable toll bridges in the region.
Has it ever been free for public?
For most of its history, the George Washington Bridge has indeed had tolls for eastbound traffic. However, there were some periods, especially in the early years, when the tolls were either reduced or temporarily waived for certain groups. But in general, the bridge has maintained tolls as a means of funding maintenance and operations. It's definitely been a consistent source of revenue for the Port Authority.
Why do you say Port Authority? That's the owner?
Exactly. The Port Authority of New York and New Jersey is the agency that owns and operates the bridge. They've been responsible for its maintenance, toll collection, and overall management since the bridge's inception. It's definitely a key part of their infrastructure.
What do you mean toll by mail?
Toll by mail means that if you don't have an E-ZPass or another electronic payment method, the toll is recorded via a camera as you cross the bridge, and then a bill is sent to the registered owner of the vehicle. It's basically a way to collect the toll after the fact instead of paying at the time of crossing. It's pretty convenient, but it can sometimes be a bit more expensive than using E-ZPass.
So what if the address of my accommodation is changed? I don't live at the address anymore.
In that case, if your vehicle's registration address is outdated, the toll by mail bill might not reach you. It's important to keep your vehicle registration up to date with your current address to avoid any potential issues or fines. If you do move, you can usually update your address with your local DMV or the relevant vehicle registration authority. That way any future toll bills will be sent to your correct address.
But what if you don't?
If you don't update your address, the toll by mail bill could end up being sent to your old address, and that could lead to missed payments. Over time, this might result in late fees, penalties, or even violations that could accumulate. It's always best to keep that information current to avoid any complications. If you do end up with an old bill, you can often contact the toll authority to resolve it and update your information.
So if I refuse to pay the bill of the toll, so eventually I will get stopped by the police on the road, in the streets?
Yes, that can happen over time. If unpaid tolls and violations accumulate, they can eventually lead to more serious consequences like fines being escalated, a hold on your vehicle registration, or even alerts that could lead to law enforcement involvement. It's always better to address any unpaid tolls as soon as possible to avoid those more serious consequences. If you do run into issues, it's best to reach out to the toll authority and work it out directly.